Sometimes you see a story that's just a tale of two extremes. On one side, you've got this incredibly detailed, well-thought-out plan for keeping a city safe. And on the other, a reality so dangerous, it's basically sitting on a knife's edge. Today, we're going to unpack the massive document designed to do good and the systemic failures that threaten to bring it all crashing down.
I mean, it's a question every huge city has to answer, right? But for a place growing as fast as Dhaka, Bangladesh, it's not just an important question, it's an urgent one. So what's their plan?
Well, let me tell you, they have a very detailed answer. This isn't some flimsy guideline. This is the Bangladesh National Building Code, the BNBC, and at 3,500 pages, this thing is a beast. It's a monumental piece of work, updated in 2020, and in theory, it is the absolute gold standard for building a safe city.
So, let's dive into this blueprint. What's the big idea behind all these thousands of pages? What is this code actually supposed to do?
Okay. The scope here is just massive. It covers literally every single stage of a building's life, from the very first design sketch all the way to its final demolition. And it's not just about making sure a building doesn't fall down, nope. It's about everything: structural stability, fire safety, even making sure there's proper light and ventilation. It's this whole vision for a safe, livable city.
So that's the theory. But how does an incredibly detailed plan like this actually translate from paper to pavement? Let's take a look at how it's designed to work in the real world, starting with the people who call the city home. And this part is so important. A building code isn't just about steel and concrete. It's about people. It's about dignity. And it's about inclusion. And the BNBC pays a lot of attention to making sure buildings can actually be used by people with disabilities.
And what's so cool here is the level of detail. I mean, we are talking about super specific measurements for the turning radius of wheelchairs, both manual and powered. It sets the minimum width for hallways and the clearance needed for doorways. This is not some afterthought. This is thoughtful, human-centered design written right into the law.
But the vision goes way beyond just a single building. It really considers how we all live together in a crowded, modern city. It's thinking about communities, not just constructions.
And this just shows you the incredible range of this code. On one side, you see these plans for cluster housing with shared open spaces, all designed to build a sense of community. On the other side, meticulously detailed guidelines for parking spots. So from creating social well-being to solving the daily headache of parking, the BNBC has a plan for it. It's a blueprint for an orderly, functional city. But is that the city that's actually being built?
And here we go. This quote from a senior engineer inside Dhaka's own development authority is where we pivot from the blueprint to the breaking point. It suggests the whole system that's supposed to guarantee safety has been corrupted, turned into a process that's not about compliance, but about who pays the most. This is where we have to look at the staggering gap between what the code wants and what the city actually is, because the numbers, well, they reveal a foundation that isn't just shaky, it's potentially catastrophic. 70%. Just let that sink in for a second. According to experts, an estimated 7 out of every 10 buildings in Dhaka violate at least one major safety rule from the code. This isn't just a few bad apples we're talking about. This is a city-wide crisis.
And this number? This is the potential consequence. A joint study by the city's development authority and the World Bank ran a simulation, and the result? A 6.9 magnitude earthquake, which is a very real possibility for the area, could completely flatten over 860,000 buildings.
The human cost is it's almost unimaginable. That same study projects that a major quake could kill as many as 320,000 people. These are not just statistics. This is the potential price for ignoring the blueprint. And even for the buildings left standing, the devastation wouldn't stop. The study warned that nearly 40% of them would be damaged so badly they'd be beyond any hope of repair. We're talking about a long-term humanitarian and economic disaster.
So what is going on here? How can you have this incredible 3,500-page plan on one side and this terrifying reality on the other? Well, the data and the experts all point to one systemic fault line that undermines everything: corruption.
This quote from a top seismologist really gets to the heart of the problem. But look, these aren't just technical mistakes. These are choices. Choices to use cheap materials, to ignore critical safety reports, and to approve dangerous designs. And those choices point to a complete breakdown of oversight.
Analysts basically describe the approval system as having two speeds. In the fast lane, you have influential developers who reportedly get their projects pushed through with no problem. And in the slow lane, you have regular folks trying to build a home facing endless delays, red tape, and demands for bribes. It's a system that just breeds inequality and risk.
So here's exactly how that beautiful blueprint gets ignored. Political pressure can just steamroll an engineer's safety advice. Foundations are changed last minute to save a few bucks. People illegally add extra floors to buildings that were never designed to hold them. And at the end of the day, as one official put it, how fast your project gets approved often comes down to corruption, not safety.
So we're left with these two completely different pictures of the same city, the one that was so carefully planned and the one that was actually built. How do you even begin to bridge that deadly gap?
I mean, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you see the orderly, safe city from the building code. And on the right, you see the terrifying result of ignoring that plan. This gap isn't just some administrative problem. It's a looming humanitarian crisis with a very, very real human cost.
The plan is there. The knowledge, the engineering, the regulations, it's all written down. So the final and most critical question isn't about architecture at all. It's about political will. It's about accountability. It's about who has the integrity to actually build the city that was planned, not the one that's being gambled with every single day.